My great grandpa, who I never met, he has changed my life. Even though I never met him, he's changed my family's life. We've got new car dealerships, Vanderbilt Cadillac, Vanderbilt Kia. Everyone in Akron knows our name, and it's because of that guy.
Entrepreneurs, we're bringing on a great guest today, best-selling book, dream-driven, founder of Goal Crazy platform, but he was actually in line to inherit a family portfolio of 5 car dealerships, and he went on to do his own thing. He took that leap of faith into entrepreneurship, so we'll dive all into that, how to find the perfect business idea, validate its winner. I mean, we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Jason, thank you for joining us here on That Entrepreneur Show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Joining us all the way from Ohio down here to Florida, and that's the beautiful thing about creating this podcast. I get to connect with entrepreneurs nationwide, worldwide, to help you, the listeners, in this field of entrepreneurship that has no blueprint, has no textbook. We have to learn from people like Jason, who, after leaving his family's successful car dealership business, he built a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio, and then, as I mentioned, created the best-selling Goal Crazy Planner, which is used by tens of thousands of people to set and achieve personal and professional goals. So if that's something you're looking to do, get ahead of these goals, accomplish these goals, we have the perfect guest for you. And of course, we'll dive into his own awesome podcast to add a podcast to everyone's queue. Jason, let's go back in time here. Why did you want to leave that car dealership opportunity, have all of this stuff handed to you, and do your own thing?
Yeah, I always dreamed of starting my own business, and I thought going into our own family's car dealership would really fill that need. But after working there for a few years, it's kind of funny, but if you ever show up at one of the Vanderbilt car dealerships up here in Akron, you will know if my dad is at that store because you'll hear him. He's excited, he's loud. You can just see that he loves the car business. He loves being a car dealer. And in a way, it's like I knew I wanted that. But after working there for a few years, and my dad wanted me to work in each department for about a year, maybe even several years, so I could learn the whole business and then one day take it over, I just realized like I wanted the fire that he had inside of him for the business, but I knew I wasn't going to find that. So it was like, all right, I want to go find what business is going to light that fire for me.
And it seems like you certainly had it, but what are some skills or lessons learned, you could say, from your experiences in corporate, right in the car dealership, that you were able to carry over to entrepreneurship to help our entrepreneurs out there who are on the cusp of doing so, or to resonate with those who have?
Probably a big thing is that if you ever want to get good at something, you have to be willing to be bad at it first. When I would start out in a new department, it was like I was almost always terrible at it. And I had this need to try and prove myself, right? I'm the owner's son. I'm going to take over this dealership. I wanted to show everybody how well I could perform. But I had to accept when I was there, I was going to be a beginner. It was okay to be bad at it. It was okay to ask people for help again and again, because that's what it looked like to become great at something.
And you made a great point there. You got to ask for help. I know a lot of times we get some quick success. We think we know everything, but that eventually will fade. And having the courage to ask people for advice, I learned, usually works out that way. Not everyone may be in the position to buy something or be your target to buy something, but having the courage to ask goes a long way. So I absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing, everyone, and welcome back here to That Entrepreneur Show. Thank you for keeping this a top 2.5% global show. We had a little bit of an intro, but I want to make sure I welcome everyone today who is tuning in. I teased this off in the beginning that we have a lot of value to add. What would you say the first step is to finding a great business idea, Jason?
I think the first thing is you have to find an idea that you absolutely love. In my experience of starting a business and interviewing hundreds of entrepreneurs on my own show, starting a business is hard. There's just no way around it, in my opinion. But if your desire to make it happen, if you've got desire that's large, is this big, but the challenge is smaller, then your desire will overcome the challenge. But if you've got a challenge that's this big and your desire to accomplish it is small, you're going to give up and jump ship and try and find another business idea. So I think for somebody, you got to find the business idea that's going to light that fire inside of you. And what I recommend for people to do that is you need to start dreaming every single day. For me, I take 10 minutes every day. I put on my headphones, I pace around in my basement, and I just dream about the type of life that I'd love to have. And it makes things clear for you. I'll say it gets you clarity on what you actually want to do with your life, because some dreams you might dream about for a day or two when they're fun, but then after a few days, you find a better dream. But then you find these certain dreams that you can dream about again and again and again for years. And when you find that, that's what gives you the clarity to understand that's what I want to do with my life. And it gives you the motivation to make it happen, because now all of a sudden your desire is big enough to overcome the challenges that you're going to face. So that's where I would start. Then you can validate it within the market. But first, you got to validate it's the right idea for yourself.
And with finding that great idea, I know through your expertise, you've really found a bunch of mistakes that people make when choosing their business idea. And then once we hit there, I want to see how your 3L framework can actually help them avoid these that you described.
I think a big mistake is that people go, I'm going to say there's two routes to choosing your business idea. There's what I would call the easy money route. And this is what most people go down and do, is they look in the market for what's the product or service that I could start selling that's the easiest to start and has the highest potential to earn me money. And that's how they start their business idea. And the problem with that is, just like I talked about earlier, starting a business is hard. So if either of those components, the easy component or the money component, disappear, you're going to give up, because easy money was the foundation of that business idea. Versus a dream-driven approach, which is the premise of my book, is you search to find the answer to the question, what do you really want to do with your life? And once you answer that, that's going to give you the fuel to keep accomplishing it. So you mentioned my 3L framework, right? So when somebody is dreaming and they find this business idea and they want to figure out, okay, is this a business idea that I have enough desire within me to make it happen? I want there to be three things, these 3Ls. The first is I want this business idea, there should be a longing behind it. You should have a large desire to make it happen. And I test this out with people with what I call the first alarm test. When your first alarm goes off, is this business idea enticing enough for you that you're willing to get out of your bed on your first alarm to go start working on this business idea? If your snooze button is more attractive than you starting that business, it's the wrong business idea, because you're going to face much harder challenges. The second is it should be what I call lifting. So it should be a goal that will force you to improve. It will lift you to a better version of yourself. When I'm working with entrepreneurs and I help them set goals, I want them to set a goal and have a business idea that's so big that they can't achieve it. That starting this business or accomplishing this goal is outside what they're currently capable of. That way, the only way they can accomplish it is if they force themselves to improve. It's kind of like if you follow any of the Tony Robbins stuff, one of the things he talks about a lot is it's not about the goal, it's about becoming the person who can achieve the goal. This business should make you a better version of yourself. If you already know how to accomplish it, that's not a good business idea. I wouldn't even say that's a goal in the first place. That's a to-do list item. Just get it done. So it should be lifting. And the third is that it should feel light. Now, this is a little more internal, but most time when I'm talking with entrepreneurs, they can gauge this. I'll ask them, hey, does starting this business, does it feel heavy or does it feel light? For me, working at our family's car dealership, I was on like a very straight trajectory to being wealthy, successful in a short amount of time, but it felt heavy. Versus the idea of launching a business that I had no clue what to do. I was going to have to work a ton of hours, push my comfort zone. It felt light because it was simply fun. So those are the 3Ls that I would look for. That would be to validate that it's the right business idea for you. After you do that, then you can move to the next phase of validating it in the marketplace. Long answer to a question. Hopefully you picked it up in there somewhere.
You absolutely crushed it. And I can certainly resonate with the heavy weight of being in the wrong place. I was a finance major, MBA guy, did the whole Merrill Lynch thing, PwC, built up my resume, but I didn't really look forward to going to work. Like now I get up and I rock and roll. I'm an unorthodox entrepreneur. I pretty much go from 3 or 3:30 to 3 or 3:30. That's my schedule. And I don't need an alarm clock. My excitement, I'm ready to go if I'm lucky to keep sleeping, right? Getting the proper sleep. But everyone, he's inspired me. I hope he's inspiring you to dig deep and find your passion and actually run with it, because if you do, the sky's the limit. And I can personally speak from that, where once I started leaning into the things, right? The 1 foot in, 1 foot out, trying to keep the finance degree alive, with advising or something. No, the more time you're out of what you want to do, the longer it's going to take you to get to where you want to go. And as he said, try to become the person who can hit these goals and make those changes along the way. But going from the successful dealership branches, right, where you have people just walking in to give you customers, you had to start over. I know you can add value here. How can you get your first customers, even if you don't have an audience or a following or are established in that field even?
I'm going to go two routes with this. I think one, most people have a bigger following than they think. And the second is how to actually tap into a following. But people tell me this all the time, like, oh, I don't have customers, I don't have following, I don't have leads. I want you to grab your phone and look at how many phone contacts you have. You probably have 1,000, literally. Those are all people that you probably remember their face at least. You should be texting all of them to let them know you're starting a business. Hey, this is the type of business I'm starting. Do you know anybody that I could help? Let everybody know. I just launched this book. I went through all of my phone contacts and texted anybody that I could remember their face and asked them to buy my book. And this is the thing is most people aren't willing. They don't have the courage to go out and do that. They want just the random people who are going to come to them, which is good. But after you exhaust that, I think that's like short-term solution to get some of your first clients. But then what I would do next is I would look for people who've already built the audience for you, right? It would be ideal if you already had this giant following of your ideal customer base, but you probably don't. So other people have, just like influencers like yourself. This is what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to find influencers who have already built an audience of my target market, and I'm going to provide value to them in a way so I can tap into their audience. Right now I launched a book, so I'm going on tons of podcasts. Just an example, when I launched my planner business, I went on YouTube and looked up influencers who had made planner review videos in the past. And I just reached out to them, asked them for their address so I could send them a free planner, and sent out a bunch of free planners. And dozens of those people left reviews. Or just influencers who were in my space. I reached out to them, I sent them planners. I would find a way to offer value if it was hosting a free workshop, giving them free PDFs, something we could do together so I could tap into their audience for free. So I think those are great places to start when you're just getting going.
Absolutely shared a bunch of great points, and many entrepreneurs that don't want to take those cold outreaches, those cold networking, right? I've gotten many clients off cold messaging people. I mean, the numbers game, of course, but money is not just going to fall in your lap. Opportunities aren't just going to continue. Not for I mean, the Bezos, the Musks, right? They glamorize entrepreneurship, but it's not like that for everyone. You have to be willing to do the nitty gritty, making these uncomfortable conversations, right? Someone you haven't spoke to, hey, check out my book. Okay.
Yeah.
And trust me, when you do it once, right? Even when I do, yesterday as we're recording this, I did old fashioned door knocking, right? I have my pamphlets and flyers. I go and knock, and unfortunately they both weren't there. I left them, but you get those butterflies right before the first one. You have to talk, and then the next you're already good to go. So everyone, I hope he's again inspiring you to step outside your comfort zone, not just from leaving a steady stream of income, but even creating that life you dream of. I mean, how you go downstairs in the basement and do that. And coincidentally, and this has never happened, right before you, I had another recording with Curtis. You both will be aired back to back. He says he time blocks thinking time, where he does nothing, no emails, no anything. He's just thinking. So I certainly love how you both have done that. So again, another free tool everyone can adapt in their day to help live the life they want, jump into the career they want. But unfortunately, we can't do it on our own. Even as an entrepreneur, I'm alone all day. I get to have chats like this, but we can't do it on our own. We need mentors. We need guidance. I know you talk a lot about the importance of mentors. So if someone doesn't have one, and like the not having customers you just said or leads, they think they don't have a mentor, how do they find them? And then how do you help them get one for free?
I had a mentor of mine once tell me, he was like, Jason, whenever you want to accomplish a goal, well, I'm going to start this back a little bit. He said, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? So if you ever want to accomplish a goal, the quickest way to do it is find someone who's already accomplished that goal and just ask them how they did it. Boom, there's your straight line to make it happen. So whenever I have a goal, whether it's to start a new type of business or to grow my business, I need to find someone who's already done that and ask them how they did it. Some of these things are going to be repetitive for just like getting your initial sales. One, I would start with anybody you know who has a business or know somebody, anybody you know who might know somebody who has a business in that space. Ask them to get connected, offer to buy them lunch, coffee, whatever you want to do. After that, I will cold call businesses to ask for help. I'm going to give an example here. I, a few years ago, was looking at buying this small mobile home park that was in our city, and I knew nothing about mobile home parks, just caught my attention. So I started cold calling a bunch of other mobile home parks in the area. And I'd ask them, hey, I'm looking to buy this one that's down the road from you. I wanted your thoughts on the deal, how you manage your place. And most of the mobile home park owners, I wouldn't be able to talk to the owner, or they would just tell me no nicely or not very nicely. But I found two or three of them that were extremely helpful. They told me, like, here's what I would look for, or I know the guy who services their wastewater treatment plant. Here's his cell number. Like, people were extremely willing to help me out. So I would cold call other businesses. That's going to push your comfort zone. I'm going to list off a couple here. You can just cut me off whenever you're ready. In my book, I break down 8. Other things I would do is I look for businesses for sale in the same niche. So wouldn't it be amazing if you had the opportunity to sit down with a successful business owner in your space and ask them line by line through their profit and loss, how they are growing their business? The amazing thing is when you find a business for sale, you often have that opportunity. So, example, when I was wanting to grow my email list, I was trying to weigh out, do I want to put in the work to grow it myself, or I could buy one kind of in my space. I started looking for people who had good sized email lists for sale, and I reached out to them. I would be upfront about your intention. Hey, I'm looking, do I want to grow this on my own or buy an existing one, right? I don't want to completely waste somebody's time. I had the opportunity to learn so much from these individuals. Last one I'm going to give is these communities exist somewhere where these teams of experts, is what I think of them as, live, right? If you're looking for owners of rental properties or coffee shops or restaurants, there's probably Facebook groups, there's forums, there's networking events that these people go to. You need to start showing up there. For me, if I find one, I would prefer one that's in person. It's much easier to make connections that way. But if it is online, most time we'll make a post in there with a super simple question. Like when I was looking at this mobile home park, I put in there like, what should I be looking for on this wastewater treatment plant that the property had? Whatever, something that an expert could answer really quickly, but would take me weeks of research to answer it. And then if somebody responds to that question, I'll normally reach out to them individually and say, hey, thanks so much. Would you be willing to hop on a 10 to 15 minute call with me? I'm clueless and I need some help. And most of the time people will step up and help. So I would say, like, you got to work hard to find these people. It's probably going to push your comfort zone, but I view this as an asset. Now with all of my businesses, if I'm trying to get to the next level, if I have a problem come up, I have like a team of people for each of them to call on and ask them, what should I be doing here, and learn from them.
The theme of this episode has to be stepping out your comfort zone. You're continuing to inspire us there. So everyone stick around just a few more minutes. We're going to get his contact info and all of that first. We're going to talk about which entrepreneur he wants to sit down with. But first, we can't breeze past his podcast. He's got another podcast, so be sure to have your phone out as you're listening. Add it to the queue. If you're a listener to this show, you'll like this show as well. Let's talk about your show.
Yeah, so my show is Goal Crazy. That's in my planners, my website, my business. So don't go crazy, goal crazy. But on it, I interview entrepreneurs on how they started their dream-driven business.
I love it. So everyone, again, this is a show you want to download, subscribe. Yes. And now, Jason, I'm very interested in this one. If you could pick any entrepreneur throughout history, we're talking dead or alive, who would your first choice be?
This one's a little personal, but I think that people could connect with where I'm going here with this is my great grandpa Rudy. He grew up like super poor. He ran away when he was 13 years old, like climbed on a train, rode it somewhere else, slept in people's barns, walked up to a construction site and just started working because he couldn't get a job. He was 13 years old. Finally got a job. But long story short, he ended up becoming extremely successful. He started my family's car dealerships. He eventually earned a bunch of money, started these car dealerships. They've been passed down I would be the 4th generation. So my dad is the 3rd generation. I would have loved to have met this guy because just from hearing the stories of him, he clearly had a fire inside of him to make this happen. But also I find what's really inspiring about when I hear our family talk about his stories is like, right now, the business I'm starting now, it's not just changing my life and my customer's life. This has the potential to change generations to come, right? Like my great grandpa, who I never met, he has changed my life. Even though I never met him, he's changed my family's life. We've got new car dealerships, named for Cadillac, named for Kia. Everyone in Akron knows our name, and it's because of that guy. So for me and for anyone listening to this, if you're looking at starting a business or growing your business, this isn't just going to change your life. This could change your great grandkid's life because that's exactly where I'm at for my grandpa Rudy.
Wow. inspiration throughout the whole show. And as we're recording, he's got a very nice backdrop here. I can't miss out on Dwight in the corner. What is that? He's got a little
Yeah, Dwight Schrute. Yep. I'm ready to face any challenges that might be foolish enough to face me.
Oh man, if anyone's seen The Office, you know the humor that we're laughing at right now. And when I have my downtime and I want to decompress, the mindless TV, my shows, I love Two and a Half Men and Modern Family as well. And of course, The Office. Did you see the new spinoff called Paper?
No, I've not.
It's on Peacock. There's only one season, and they go back to the original Dunder Mifflin. I won't spoil anything for everyone. And then it goes into what happened there. And there's one person so far from the original show in that show. So I'm going to let you watch it to check it out. Yeah, it's a good.
Paper. All right, I'm making notes here.
Yeah, yeah. I've got some notes in the show notes as well from your talk. You gave us a great show. I want to thank you so much, Jason, for taking some time to join our community of entrepreneurs. Everyone, make sure to subscribe to stay current with who we bring on. So now, Jason, not only where can we find you, where can we find the pod, the books, all the great things you're bringing into the world?
Yeah, so podcast is basically on all the platforms that you would listen to podcasts on. My book, Dream Driven, place to go, is on Amazon. If you're interested in my planners, they're also on Amazon, Goal Crazy, or I do have a website, goalcrazy.com. And if someone is listening to this and they're struggling with finding that perfect business idea, one that's going to light a fire inside of them, if they go to my website, if they go to goalcrazy.com/idea, they can get a free course that'll give them guidance to find that perfect business idea so they can have the desire they need to overcome the challenges that are likely going to arise when they start a business.
All right, everyone, if you are a newer entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur tuning in, my first stop would be to download that because you can connect some dots that you may have missed because as we talked about, you always have to be learning here in entrepreneurship. My name is Vincent A. Lancey. It's an honor and a privilege to continue to host this show. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in to keep this show a top 2.5% global show. We look forward to keeping these episodes going. And again, be sure to connect with Jason. He brought a lot of value here. Check out his podcast, check out his book, and be sure to stay current, especially if you want that course. But with that, we're going to be signing off today, Ohio down to Florida. Jason, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vincent. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I would love to hear your feedback. What did you love? What do you want to see more of? Are there any questions you would like me to ask the guests who come on the show? This show is not possible without you, the amazing listeners, so please email us at podcastsbylancey@gmail.com and let us know what you think. We'll also feature you on a later show. Please remember to subscribe to stay current with our amazing community of guests who will continue to come on the show, sprinkled in with solo episodes from me, Vincent A. Lancey. With that, I look forward to introducing more shows to you each and every week. And with that, we're signing off today. Enjoy the episodes and make it a great day ahead.